How are you doing?
I'm great. How are you?
I am tired. It's been a busy day.
My
uh,
back hurts. I did lawn work all day.
you did long work and then you just got done streaming just to have like a mini
Uh-huh.
break and start doing this. And uh, for those again that do not know who Rove is a Twitch streamer, content creator. I catch a lot of his stuff over on TikTok and everything. A lot of those really good trick shots on Valorant. Absolutely freaking love those videos, especially when it's like, oh, is he gonna make it? Is he gonna make it? And then bam, he does. And sometimes you don't. But yeah, we're here today. We're gonna be sitting here talking about. Did you sit there say that you picked these films because they were something important to you for each like little decade in your
Yeah.
life and everything? So
Yeah, for
like,
sure. Growing up.
so we go from like the 90s, and then like the other two films are kind of like they're almost like in the same era of sorts and everything, but different years apart and everything. I definitely cannot wait because when you sent me your film list, I was all like, oh my god, this is going to be so much more fun. And then the moment I started watching one of the films, I'm all like, I am so gonna do my best not to tear this fucking film apart in front of him.
Their B-roll, their B-roll. I know it.
uh,
Everybody knows it.
Oh yeah, but like at the same time too, it's like when I get people that sit there and say it's like you shit on this film, but yet you love this film, and this film is probably more garbage than the film you just criticized. It's like, well, the difference
Yep.
is those filmmakers intended to make garbage. It was the intention to make it so trashy. But before we jump into that, we're gonna get to sit there and know or host a little bit more. Rove, you're a Twitch streamer. How long have you been doing that?
I think I'm coming up on 3 years in November. So that's the affiliate anniversary anyway. I can't remember when I actually started. Might be now. But yeah, about 3 years.
Oh, okay, and everything. Do you go by like affiliate anniversary of like this is my official anniversary, or do you sometimes? I guess since you couldn't remember the date you actually started.
Yeah. Yeah. At least Twitch comes up once a year and says, hey, it's your anniversary. And so, that makes it easy because you can ask my ex-wife. I'm not very good at that.
Oh my god, this is gonna be fucking fun. Ex-wife jokes. But what do you generally like playing on Twitch?
On Twitch streaming, I mostly play Valorant just because of the cosplay, just because of the mood and the character you can jump into, and that's kind of what people expect. Every once in a while on a weekend, if something new comes out, like I play all different kinds of video games off stream.
Okay.
I was just playing Power World for the last 2 days because I was bored, and it was kind of like Power World's kind of like Zen. You
Yeah.
go run around with your little guys, and if you're nice to them, you're nice to them. If you're not, you're not. But just kind of run around. But mostly just Valorant. I've always enjoyed first person shooters. It's like Counter-Strike with magic, and I loaded up Counter-Strike, I don't know, like a year ago and instantly uninstalled it because I'm nowhere near that good anymore. Um,
I feel
and Valorant's got its
like Counter Strike,
go
you
ahead.
have to like have like a certain. I guess in the sense like Valorant, you have to have like a really good accurate hand when it tries
Really
to.
good accurate hand, but those maps do not change and they've been there for 20 years. Like I
Yeah.
haven't played Counter-Strike in 6 years. I don't know what that corner is, and I just got shot in the head. That's great. At least with like playing Brimstone or stuff, if I'm gonna run around a corner, I can drop some smokes on it and kind of
Yeah.
take away people's angles, and so that's kind of fun for me because it's a young kid's game to play all the duelists that are flying around and all fast and accurate, and like I have a machine gun, I'm just gonna start throwing some lead down range.
Yeah. So what made you like Brimstone so much that you even cosplay as him?
Well, I mean, I did not start as Brimstone, didn't even really put it together until somebody actually like mentioned it, and I've been doing some other cosplay stuff. I've been to Renaissance festivals or whatever, and I was like, somebody was like, "Oh yeah, you actually sound like him." And I was like, the night goes on, or I do a lot of drinking streams. As I get a little too many ciders in me, my voice will start to drop levels, and people are like, "You sound like Brimstone." I'm like, "Hey, I kind of do."
Huh.
So just kind of turned around that way, and
You just
yeah,
fell
it was
into
it was
it.
it just yep.
Um
Especially once I got on TikTok with it, because people swiping through it made them stop. Like, oh my
yeah.
god, that guy looks like Brimstone, sounds like Brimstone's playing Brimstone. Like, Twitch for discovery like that is just terrible. So
You hit
it
that
really
nice
really started to
niche,
sink in.
you know.
Yeah.
I'm slowly starting to see that where I'm starting to get like some people that come in and they're all like, "Oh, I've seen your TikToks," or "Oh, I've seen your Instagram," and everything. And I was all like, "Oh God, do you follow me on there?" It's like, well, it's like let's put the judge measure here. It's like, what film caught your eye? It's like, was it me
Yeah.
tearing apart a film, or was it me praising a film? Like, let's start there. Um,
Hmm.
so, have you ever cosplayed as any of the other Valorant characters before, like solidifying yourself to Brimstone?
I didn't before, but now part of my channel points, I've got 4 or 5 wigs now for some of the female characters. So, it's not full on like full dress and everything, but I'll throw on the Viper mask and the wig for a game. If somebody pays for it, they get to choose who it is.
That's who I thought it was, because I was like, I know you cosplayed as someone else, but I was like, I had no clue if that was another Valorant character or like,
Oh yeah.
okay, and everything.
And then this closet door over here has all the other random like spacesuit Grinch. I've got my barbarian armor, my pirate armor, all that stuff in there.
Ooh, nice and everything. One of the things I really want to ask before we jump into your movies is, in your like community, there's a lot of body positivity. Even in your subathons, you're over here shirtless, wearing pasties, with leader hose on, like going full Monty almost. You're halfway through full Monty, and you are doing like what is it, like waxing strips and everything, just having a ball.
Mm-hmm.
And from one big guy to like another, I'm like over here. It's like this dude has confidence. So it's like, where do you find that? Do you definitely promote body positively in your community?
Absolutely, and it is definitely confidence. I was a state wrestler in high school. I played rugby in college. Uh, did a lot of physical activity things, and it's like I'll be the first one to tell you I'm probably still 50 pounds overweight, but I've never worried about that just because in my experience growing up, it was always, well, you're gonna come and talk some trash to me, like you're probably not because I am gigantic. I'm 6'1", I'm 275 pounds as I stand right now. Um, but then I always, when I was in middle school, it was not that way. I was shorter, definitely still had the weight, which means I was really round. Uh, and, I got beat up a lot for that, and I never liked that. And then once I got into high school, shot up 6 inches, started playing middle linebacker and wrestling. All that kind of obviously stopped, and ever since then, it was ever, I went through that, and I don't want to see other people go through that. Um, so anytime I hear it, it's I don't even have to just think. I just start talking and blasting somebody down for being a jerk to
Yeah,
somebody else because of the way they look. There's no reason for that. There's definitely, reasons not to say, like I need to lose weight. I know that. I could feel it in my back. I could feel it in my knees as I get older. Like there is some health aspects to it where it's like, hey, we can have this honest talk, but I'm not shaming you or doing anything like that. Like we do need to worry about our health, but that also plays into the confidence. People get in the gym, they start losing weight, they start feeling better about themselves. There's nothing wrong with you right now, but that's one way to build that confidence. Sports or friends around you that do help keep the healthy conversation going while telling you there's nothing to worry about now because you are
yeah.
fine.
I get that from Dee. Dee will sit there and she'll riz me up in the middle of the stream. She's like, "Who is that handsome man?" And I'm all like, "God dang it, woman, stop!" It's like I kind of feel like it does the
Well,
counterintuitive where it's all like, I just want to hide. It's all like, I can't take the compliment. I can't take it.
well, the online world is, and what I've noticed in the last 3 years is a lot different than the IRL world.
Hmm.
You go out here and you see, I'll see girls comment on other girls' dresses or whatever, or that guy's too big or blah 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 blah. Most of the people, at least that roll around in my streams in my community and my friends' communities, nobody's like that. We're all
Yeah,
here for a reason. It's because we kind of hate being around that stuff.
yeah,
'Cause negativity breeds negativity, and I have no time for that with everything I have going on in life, everything I'm doing, as busy as I am. Why would I waste 1 second with somebody that's being purposely negative to other people?
hmm. Uh, Especially it's like now learning that apparently you used to do like state wrestling. I was
Mhm.
all like, "Oh shit!" So like, did you ever go to like nationals or anything like
No, that
that?
was that
Or
was high school. I actually ended up getting strep throat for the state tournament, which was sad, but
did
uh,
you still go and
took
kick ass? Or
Oh no. My dad called the coach. He's like, he's saying he's gonna go, but he has literally got no color in his skin and can't walk. So
God.
he's staying home. And I was like, that's okay. But I
Oh,
did really good in the districts. My senior year, I won most of the duels for us. Well, in my weight class anyway. But we also had another kid who was a little lighter than me, better wrestler than me, but we would swap the 189, 215 pound weight class depending on who we thought had a better chance of beating the other person. And so that was always fun. It's like, well, I'm cutting weight. Oh no, now I have to wrestle up. And that guy's 20 pounds heavier than me. Great. This is gonna be fun.
oh, wait. Have you ever thought about, like, I guess when you were in high school wrestling, that like, oh, would I like to get professional wrestling? I mean, you got the personality for it. I think you got the personality for wrestling and everything, but did you ever have that thought of all like, oh, this seems nice. Maybe I could try to jump into the professional?
No, I would, up until when I started streaming, I have all my life had a very subdued, linear focused personality.
Okay.
And so entertaining, all that. I'm the quiet guy, the stoic guy. But you get a couple drinks of me and turn on the stream or something, or
I've
it
been
just
there.
changes. I don't
I've been
know.
there, and I'm like over here, and I'm like over here talking to my sis in a voice chat. I was like, "Are you checking this man out?" And she's like, "Yeah." I was all like, "This dude is wild. He's probably gonna fill it in the morning and everything." It's all like, it's like, I wish I could feel this alive and everything. And you're just like, just getting all into it, and it's like, oh man. Um,
It's those drinking horns, I tell you.
Exactly. So we are going to jump into the first film here that you have listed, and it was the one that I was kind of nodding towards you in Twitch of all like, I think now I know why he picked this film, because he kind of looks like the villain in this movie. I didn't notice it until like after like I watched it last night. I was like, oh, that's strange. He kind of looks like Rove. I was all like, did he pick this because of this reason and everything? But Judge Dredd, the Stallone version. Last episode we covered the Carl Urban one, which, Violet and me pretty much agreed, like down to a T. It's probably like a perfect film. It's a perfect action film without really needing any extra bits. And then you look at Judge Dredd, and it's like, this is pure '90s.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, like, and that's not to downplay it. Like, I have my issues with it, but like overall, like if you just ignore the IP, it's like, this is a fun '90s action film. It has so much
Hmm.
fun. So why did you pick Judge Dredd?
Well, I mean, there's a lot of reasons I always loved that movie. Come from an Italian family, so Stallone was big in our house.
Mm,
Um, he's one of the, other than like a George Clooney or something, he was the Italian action hero.
okay.
And my dad loved him. I loved him. The dystopian future part of it. Uh, I started playing Warhammer 40K, I think, when I was about 13 or 14. And so
Ah,
there's a lot of the same imagery in that and the same kind of end of the world sort of, you know, God, I don't even know how to explain it, but
the
just that
fascism.
dark future.
Even though, like,
Well, I mean,
even though
there's that.
you're supposed to be like the good guy, he's like, he's the biggest fascist out there, and it's all like,
Yeah.
well, like, yeah.
Um, and then, being a younger guy, when I first saw that movie, Diane Lane didn't hurt. Um,
She's hot in that
and
film.
then
I
you got Stallone.
completely didn't even know that
She's
was her
still
ever.
hot.
Yeah,
She's still hot. Like,
yeah. Oh my god.
but then again, with all the kind of futuristic, I mean, not as much as we see now, but for back then, that was a lot of future ideas for tech and everything outside of something like Star Trek or, you know,
Yeah.
there was some things in there that you could actually see fitting in the real world going
I
into like they had the mutant type guys out there. I don't know if they called them that. I can't remember now, but they had that
they're
out
pretty much
there
they're
and
mutants and everything, and
mm,
I love that Herschel from The Walking Dead. I sat there, saw he played Pa Angel, and I was like, isn't that
hmm
Herschel? I was like, ah shit, I guess it is an alternative reality where he didn't lose his leg and everything, and but like all of his kids are mutants, and one of them is like mostly cybernetic, and it's like,
Yep.
for one, this film, for what it is, even for like its budget, its practical effects are amazing.
I don't even know what the budget was. I've never looked at that.
The budget's somewhere between 85 to 90 million dollars.
Oh wow,
Yeah, and
it's crazy. I mean, they built those mega cities, all the uniforms, all the extras, all the. I mean, it was not easy back then. Even that little recyc unit, driving that thing around. We can make
yeah,
high schooler could make one of those right now. They do it all the time for battle bots, but back then making it like
yeah,
R2D2 had a human being inside of it. Like,
exactly. I ended up figuring out that I think the actress's name was Twiggy, I believe. No, 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 it wasn't Twiggy. Um, it was a famous duo of like mimes and everything. They were like kind of popular like in the I think the 70s or the 80s. I found out that she was one that did the whole body thing for Dot Matrix and Spaceballs.
oh
And
god, that's
and
amazing.
I'm like over here, it's like, are you serious? Because like just already like the way she moves, I was all like, for one, you got one of the best like mime impersonators or just mime
Hmm.
actors to begin with, but to be that tightly encased to the point that you're
Right.
you're literally this is as much, So yeah, this film we've definitely jumped around a whole bunch that we can have those robots and or those
Hmm.
practicals without having um, people suffering in tiny spot like spaces and everything. R2, I would feel bad. I would think everyone would just all like, if he fucked up his lines, everyone just kick the can. And it's like, fuck you. It's like,
Get it together, man.
get it together. It's all like, it's fucking hard in here. Like, you try figuring this shit out. Um, this film has like a wonderful cast. Again, you do kind of resemble a little bit of Rico or Armand Asante, I believe is his name. I don't know if you've seen him in anything. Apparently, he was in Gotti. Uh, when Nietzsche wept. I don't know. Like a lot
I
of
see
what you
him
picked
pop up
here.
every once in a while.
Yeah, he seems like he's kind of like one of those character actors of like I've seen him before, but like I don't
He'll
know.
usually do some kind of like Bob role or something, some kind of
Yeah,
boss role.
yeah. I don't know if he's like believe it or not, you mentioned that he played John Gotti. I would not be shocked if maybe he had some role in the Sopranos. It's a show I still need to watch. I've never seen
Me
the
too.
Sopranos. But were you a Judge Dredd fan before this movie? Like, did you ever read any of the comics?
No, nope, had no.
Okay,
No, I
so
grew up in a pretty strict household. Comic books were not really a thing.
really, but Stallone, Rocky, watching him
Backfired.
beat the hell out of a guy,
Oh
that's
yeah, yeah,
fine.
that's fine. That's fine.
But
That's
but
pugilism, and that's it's in the Bible.
oh my lord. Okay. So then you weren't part of the demographic then of people that got pissed off at this movie when Stallone didn't want to wear the helmet and everything and
No,
and he took it off. So like to you you just looked at it as like, all right, well, what's that you know um when I was watching this, one thing I did pick up on, um if it didn't have the Judge Dredd IP on it, this actually feels like this could have been a suitable sequel to the Demolition Man.
oh, could have. Like,
I want to like ask like what did you think about it? Like if he left, I don't what is it, Sandra Bullock? Yeah, he left Sandra Bullock for Diane
hmm.
Lane in a sequel. Um, what would your thoughts be? Because a lot of this does remind me of Demolition Man.
I mean, I would probably put Demolition Man as a prequel because he goes in there, messes it all up. Like here's your little what do they call it? Paradise. What's the other word? I don't remember.
Paradise
Um,
Lost or
no, no. What's the other word for paradise? Utopia. Here's your
oh
utopia.
yeah, okay.
You know, and Stallone comes in, shows him how eating rat meat's better than eating Taco Bell pills, and then
Yeah,
fast forward 2,000 years, we've gone from the utopia to now mega city and all this violence and all these things going on,
it's all like this whole
and it'd
piece.
just be a different version of the same thing. You had everybody's wearing the robes and using the three seashells, and now there's still just one person in charge. It's kind of an a-hole, or is an a-hole, and
Mhm.
but now we just have all this death in the streets.
Yeah, it's more of the like the action of what he grew up in before being. I think he was frozen, right?
Yeah, well, yeah, cryo.
Yeah, yeah, he was cryogenically frozen, and then like wakes up after like doing all this years later. It's all like, yay, this world's gonna be better. No, it's a fascist utopia where the police are quite literally the judge, jury, and executioner for you. Um, Again, I don't sit there and think that this is a bad film. If anything, I feel like you picking this film also, uh, what's the word? It it strengthens my belief that like because you've seen the 1998 Godzilla film, right? The one with Matthew
Oh
Broderick
yeah,
and Jean Reno,
not for a long time,
which you
but
do
sure.
look a little bit like Jean Reno too. You know, he's French, not
Good
Italian.
looking guys. They're all good looking
Yeah,
guys.
you know, you just got that face that it's all like, it's like I'm his cousin. you know. Um
Could be.
but like if you look at Godzilla 1998, it doesn't feel like a Godzilla film, but if you strip the IP away, it's a decent monster movie and everything. And to me, I always looked at that film as like a remake of the Creature from 20,000 Fathoms, which
Oh God.
yeah, that old black and white film, which essentially they awaken it just because I think they were trying to drill for oil or something in the Arctic. And they blow it up and they wake this damn thing up, and it makes its way, I think, to California and everything. Awesome film and everything, but like if you really look at that film, it's like, wow, this Godzilla film kind of follows that. And I kind of feel like this Judge Dredd film feels like, oh, this is a sequel to Demolition Man. It has all the fun action
Hmm.
pieces, all the futuristic stuff. Um, you don't really expect great writing like from Rocky from this. You just expect to be entertained, and then that's it.
Yeah.
And I feel like this film definitely reinforces, my whole argument of like, there's some of these films, like if you just strip away that IP and you kind of like look at it, it's like, yeah, it's just kind of like this film. It's like a sequel. It's like, it doesn't hurt it. It's fine. It's fair. It's fun. Um,
Hmm.
are there any final thoughts before we move over to your next film?
Well, I mean, just on that point, like so many of those films in any genre um, during that time were just their genre to be that genre. Like there
Mm-hmm.
wasn't a whole lot of different stories in any of those different categories, and it was something my creative writing teacher said in college. He's like, "There's only 7 different types of stories. You've got a tragedy, you've got a coming of age, you've got this, you've got that. You know, it's they're all the same story. It's just how you tell it."
Yeah. I'm pretty sure your
And so,
creative writer
you know, maybe
teacher
they
is proud of you to remember that. Like,
it always stuck with me because he's like, it's true in life too. Like when something bad is happening, and you're not the first one to go through it, so don't think you are.
yeah.
Go find somebody that has been through it if you need advice, and don't sit there and you're poor me. How could this happen to me? Like, nah, it's just life. It happens, and you got to find a way through it, just like everybody else does.
Mm-hmm. Completely. Um, we are going to move over to this was the film that for some reason was so hard for me to find. When you gave me these films, I should have watched it immediately when I definitely knew it was on Tubi, and then Tubi took it off. I was
Hmm.
like, son of a bitch, and everything. But I'm really intrigued because of the cast: Jim Caviezel, Guy Pearce, Richard Harris, James Fran, Dagmara. I have no clue how to say her last name. I think it's Dominicic, Luis Guzman, and a early role from Henry Cavill's pre Superman.
Yep.
It's the Count of Monte Cristo. Uh, I've never read the book. I've heard of the movie, but like when I watched the trailer to it, I was like, this seems like Aladdin. It kind of feels like it borrows like a little bit of the tropes of, you know, guy isn't really much, gets imprisoned, breaks out, finds some type of or riches, and then completely reinvents himself just so that he can get the girl and he can. Well, Aladdin didn't get revenge on anyone, but he was just more or less just trying to fix the wrongdoings. But why did you pick the Count of Monte Cristo? Which I will say, folks, this is the 2002 version.
So at that point, because we're going decades to get decades, at that point in my
Hmm.
life, I think it was in my early 20s or something when I saw that movie. Maybe almost somewhere in there. You know, I was dealing with a lot of girls, a lot of, when you get out of high school,
Yeah.
you've got this huge group of friends. And, fast forward to me 20 years later, I talked to 2 of them. Like, the people falling off, people deciding they're going to go do this. And now that we're out of high school, you're not my friend anymore. That kind of betrayal stuff. Then
Yeah.
you got all the, dealing with being a young man in relationships and what a wild ride that is. And,
Hmm.
that movie just kind of fit my personality because what really happens with him is that was his best friend
Hmm.
and who ends up betraying him because he was jealous of his success because he was actually working hard. They were working on the same ship together, and that guy got promoted to first mate. From coming from a carpenter's family or something like that. Whatever the story that was. Started becoming successful, and the guy, his best friend, was the representative of the investors. daddy's boy on the ship to make sure his interests are there. And so once he started becoming successful and wasn't just his best friend he had along for his ride, once he started having his own ride and had the beautiful girl, whatever, he decided to betray him and set him up. And that's how he got sent to jail. And when he was in jail, he had no idea how to do it. But then he meets the old guy in prison as he's trying to tunnel out, who teaches him how to sword fight, teaches him economics, teaches him math, teaches him other languages and everything, and finally gets him to come around mentally by thinking about it, that it was his friend that betrayed him through all these sequence of events he had told him about, and that there was only one logical answer. And so when he got out, that's why he had reinvented himself as a count. He, the guy that he was in jail with, knew where Spada's treasure was.
Mm-hmm.
He had hidden it himself, but now he was too old to use it, so he told him where that was. That's where all his money came from. And then he comes back and gets revenge on the people that wronged him, essentially.
Yeah, it
Everybody,
feels
and
like a
that just hit.
like a swashbuckling tale,
It's not though. It's very slow. It's very methodical. It's very thought out. It's got a lot.
And
Like there's not
like
even a sword fight really till the end.
yeah, because like when I was watching the trailer for it, right before I did like the whole call up, I'm like over here like I was all like, this is like really fast paced editing. Like there's like the whole graphic of like the sword slash, and you have like this lens flare effect and everything, and I'm all like, has like there's a certain era of I guess like trailers for something that is supposed to be historical, and they kind of feel like, I guess because you described the film as like it's very slow burn. The trailer just kind of to me gave me a whole different thing. Like it was very fast paced, and I was
Hmm.
like, what is up with that? Because I'm pretty sure you've seen the 1999 Mummy movie, the one Brendan
Oh yeah.
Fraser. Yeah, those trailers were very fast paced. Cut, you had like the lens flares, the what sounds like the tearing of the screen and everything. And they were
Hmm.
still doing that the following year at the Count of Monte Cristo with like League of Extraordinary Gentlemen, and I'm all like, what the hell is up with this era in editing for the
They just
trailer?
wanted to generate that interest, like
Yeah,
this
but
is
then
gonna
the
be something you can't miss. Like,
but now it's like I still want to see this, but like just from what this trailer has like sold to me, and then what you sold to me, I was like, yeah, no, that trailer lied, man. It's like
yeah, it
that
sure
trailer
does.
lied to me. It was all like, I'm like expecting, oh, this is gonna be fast paced, like kind of like almost like a Pirates of the Caribbean, just maybe not
Hmm.
as silly. And like, yeah, no, you're like, oh no, it's a slow pace. It's not really swashbuckling. I was all like, how dare the studios lie to me and everything. But you look at that era of time, and it's all like that's like about 4 years in, probably really longer, and it's all like I don't know, like you kind of like figure like, man, change that up a bit. Maybe don't lie to the audience as quite as much. Like,
I mean, you're setting that expectation for something. You want your movie
yeah,
to be successful, and people are disappointed. Like they go to Count of Monte Cristo, and they finally drag their girlfriend along to what's supposed to be this big old sword fighting movie, and it's actually a revenge love story, and it's very slow. Well,
yeah.
now the girl's probably happy, and the guy's like, "Where's all my fighting?" Like,
It's all like this music that I saw from the trailer 6 months back. It's like this got me so hyped, and it's like, this is a chick flick.
yep.
That's probably how most of them would look at. But I like a lot of these stories that are like that they're very slow burn, and then they build up really really well. I feel like the late 90s early 2000s had quite a bit of those, but like me as a kid when this film came out, I was like probably 9. I'm looking at, oh no, I wasn't even 9 yet, so I was already like 8. So I like looked at this and I was like, this is boring, I'm gonna go watch Brendan Fraser's The Mummy. At least that one,
Yeah.
it's a little bit more
Oh, yeah,
upbeat.
yeah.
Yeah.
It was that a change of an era from telling a story to entertaining.
Yeah.
There's a huge difference. Like Marvel's entertaining and they get to the story, but it's definitely more entertaining
Yeah.
than
Well, if you like look at
really exploring the lore or
early MCU, felt like a lot of storytelling, less, well,
Mhm.
I feel like they had like the balance of entertaining and storytelling where you didn't feel bored with either or. It was nicely balanced. But then
Yeah,
like
like Iron Man was a whole story.
yeah, and so was Thor. It was about this
Mhm.
god that was just way too prideful, way over his freaking head, and he truly believed he could do whatever the hell he want without no repercussions whatsoever. um
And I'm not complaining about Endgame because that was one of the best fight
Yeah,
sequences, everybody showing up and the angles they pick for the camera, like it was amazing. And that was the culmination of all of this, right?
it was spectacle, but I wouldn't sit there say spectacle like in a bad way. Like it all crescendoed very, very well, even though there were
Yeah,
a few
because
like pit holes, but y-
well, I mean, but for like all those origin stories, you already had that build up in there to watch that final scene of
yeah.
we're just gonna do a whole movie of this, basically.
Yeah, and I know like a lot of people they kind of have like the complaint of like, well, post Endgame is just not good. I was like, well, that's because they have to rebuild everything all over again. You got to do those
Hmm.
origin stories again. Some of them are good, some of them are like, God, this was
Yeah.
terrible, and then you had the infusion of, well, you have to watch the the TV shows because they feed in some of the back stuff. That's what's going to set up the next
Hmm.
movie. And uh, even for me, it's like I have so many shows and movies that I'm so like on the backlog. It's like I can't get them all. So that like build your
Yeah.
whole universe on that. Yeah, it's more entertainment. Like I just recently saw the recent Captain America film. That was garbage.
I still haven't watched that one.
Sam deserves so much more fucking better. Um,
Yeah. I
I
love him as an actor, but I was just like, where are you
Yes.
going with this?
Yes,
Like,
like Pain and Gain and all that. Like he's fucking amazing,
hmm,
and he's got some really good chops. But like, it felt like when I watched that film, it was like the same criticisms I had for Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness. The difference was I still enjoyed Doctor Strange. That
yeah.
was still fun, but like Doctor
That one even
Strange,
lost me a little bit, and I enjoyed that because I usually don't get lost in movies. I was like,
yeah,
oh, what do they do? We're
but
fighting with
but
music notes. Okay,
but
cool.
but like you could still see in Doctor Strange, it's like this felt like two movie ideas pushed into one. Where to
Hmm.
me it felt like Captain America, I think it's called Brave New World. Yes, because Spider-Man's
Yeah.
Brand New Day. They're not really original with their freaking titles. Do a little bit better,
No.
Marvel. But like, just what they had there, that felt like that was like three movies that they just try to push into one and
Yeah.
everything. And like, I'm all like, Serpent Society should have been enough. It's all like, yeah, Giacomo Esposito, like that man should have been enough, but he was like only in Act One, and then you have the leader, and then the Red Hulk, and I'm just like, there's too much. There's too much. You're
It kind of
shoving
feels
so
like
much
throwing
in.
darts at the wall just to
Yeah,
see what sticks and then running with it.
yeah, and then sitting here saying, "Oh, this was the whole point." And I was like, "No, no, it wasn't." It's like we could definitely tell. Like you did not do your homework on this. But Monte Cristo, I felt like this is probably gonna be another Jim Caviezel film. I was definitely gonna enjoy. Um, because again, the first film I ever saw him in was Passions of the Christ, and it's like,
Oh wow. Yeah.
yeah, I can't watch that film much. It's all like, dude, great fucking film. I just can't watch the whole torture scene. And this is coming from a guy who loves watching Friday the 13th.
Hmm.
I love
Hmm.
watching Jason kill a bunch of horny
Yep.
teenagers, that are sometimes assholes. But I was like watching that guy get whipped and beaten while tied to a rock or whatever. I was like, I can't do that. That's a little extreme on my watch and everything. And then of course he played the villain in the Expendables, and it's all
Hmm.
like, oh, okay, so that was not even really memorable. It's all like Stone Cold was more memorable in that. Um, but then my
I
friend
was just all my
Scorpy,
old heroes. Like
yeah, it
that's the
was,
reason I enjoyed that movie. I wasn't paying attention to the plot.
yeah, yeah, because the Expendables kind of like what maybe I guess they try to sit there and be like Endgame, where it's all like, oh, we're gonna bring all these guys together. But again, it's spectacle that you're supposed to just enjoy, turn your brain off. Uh, didn't care much for Jim Caviezel on that one. He was just a bad guy. But my friend Scorpio introduced me to Frequency, which I don't know if you've seen that one.
I
Uh,
haven't seen that one.
it's Dennis Quaid and
So
Jim Caviezel. They play father and son. Dennis Quaid dies when Jim Caviezel's like a kid. Um, and apparently, I think it's linked to a serial killer, and they're trying to figure out who the serial killer is, and they're communicating through different times through a CB radio. And Jim Caviezel learns that whenever he kind of helps his father, I think, avoid his death, it changes the future. And so it's like, there's like the butterfly
right.
effect and all that other stuff. Really, really fun. I enjoyed Jim Caviezel in there. So I really hope that I could probably enjoy The Count of Monte Cristo with this one. It's like I need more Jim Caviezel films where I'm not looking away because he's getting the shit beat out of him, or like I just frankly don't care for him.
Well, I mean, there's two things I do, if and when, I ever start dating another girl, there's two things I show them. There's the Count of Monte Cristo and the 2003 Battlestar Galactica. If you like both those things, we're going to be just fine.
Why Battlestar Galactica? And specifically that one.
Everybody I have shown that to, have you ever seen the show Portlandia?
Yes.
Because they do it perfectly. They start the first episode, and then they're like, well, we can be a little late to this party, let's watch one more. And then it's, well, we can show up to dessert, let's watch one more. And then it's, fast forward a few days, they haven't stopped watching it, they're fired from their jobs, their power's shut off. Like, it's just, for some people it is that good. It's great character development. Not a whole lot of sci-fi battles, there are of course, but it's all about the characters.
Mm-hmm.
And they do really good. And again, with like a lot of these older movies or shows we talk about, or you talk about like Stargate, SG1,
Mm-hmm.
you go back and watch these things again, and you see people that have like made it big now, like seeing Henry Cavill in Count of Monte Cristo. You're like, oh my God, that was him the whole time, but it never clicks because we're 20 years past that now.
Yeah.
You go back and you watch it, you're like, oh my God, that's him.
I've been doing that a lot lately here with Cillian Murphy, because like he's
Mhm.
in everything from Peaky Blinders to practically every Christopher Nolan film. And I watched 28
Right.
Days Later. I was like, give me back this Cillian Murphy. I really
Oh
miss
gosh.
that emotional rawness, because like he has like so many other films from that time, like Breakfast on Pluto, where he plays a drag queen. And then there's Disco Pigs, which is like, don't misjudge it by the title. It's a really dark film. It's practically about like these two kids that grow up. Cillian Murphy is the boy, and like they've always been together, but when the girl kind of starts like splitting away from him and she starts finding other boys she likes, he gets jealous, and then there's like murder and everything, and you're just like, holy shit.
Nice.
But Cillian Murphy does it so well, of like this slowness of like this is my best friend, this is my whole world, she's slowly getting away from me, and he's slowly going full-blown psychotic. And it's like,
Mhm.
yeah, I definitely go back anytime that I see a modern day Cillian Murphy film. It's like, this makes me just want to go back to those early 2000 films where
Right.
it was all the real raw emotional stuff. And if there's a rare chance that Cillian's listening to this, which I highly doubt it is, like, Cillian, like, please do like another film like Disco Pigs or something like that. I miss that era of him and everything. And I also want to sit there and ask, why specifically Battlestar Galactica? Why not the original and everything? Is
I
there
watched the original. It's fun. It's just two entirely different things.
okay? Because like I
They
remember
literally
Battlestar.
call the new one the reimagining,
Yeah.
and Starbuck from the original is actually in the new one,
Oh,
playing
okay.
one of the
I only
bad characters.
remember Katie Sackhoff and Edward James Olmos, because I remember Sci-Fi used to
Yeah.
advertise this heavily. And then of course you mentioned like childhood, like watching Stargate SG-1. I was like, yeah, those were the shows I watched as a kid, because my
Mhm.
mom was into that. So my gateway into sci-fi was everything through my mom. The X-Files, Stargate SG-1.
Yep.
You remember Farscape?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. Those, believe it or not, for anyone that is a Twitch fan, you can sometimes catch a Farscape marathon on the Shout Factory Twitch channel. They do marathons of that where they'll play that.
We can even go back and see if you remember Space Cases on Nickelodeon.
I do not remember
It was
that
such a bad show. It was such a bad
one.
show.
When during Nick was that?
Oh God, I don't even remember. But what's her name? Jewel State was in that one, like
Okay.
as a young teenager, and then fast forward to Stargate Atlantis. She's in that.
I
So there's just another one of those things, sci-fi wise, where it's like it's really fun to go back and watch sci-fi stuff from way back in the day because they stick with the genre. A lot of them.
Yeah. They don't try to redefine it. They know what they are. And like with that, they play into the strengths of it, and they come out with like some really good stuff. Another one that I grew up watching was not the original Star Trek, but Next Generation. To me, my captain was Picard. And then you had what the fuck's his damn name? I keep forgetting it.
Shatner.
No.
Oh yeah.
Well, I mean,
Oh,
like,
right.
yeah, Shatner's character and everything, I more or less watched more or less through the movies. I watched the movies more in the show
Mm-hmm.
and everything. So like when Shatner died, I didn't
Yeah, it's
really
pretty
quite
hard to go back
understand.
and watch those ones.
Yeah. But when Shatner's character gets killed off, like I was like, I don't really feel the connection to this character compared to Spock. Like I just love Spock more than anything. I think
Oh
Spock
yeah.
was a far better, him and Bones were a far better character than Shatner, who just pretty much fucked everything that had legs.
Riker took that over for Picard.
That was the other one I was remembering, Riker, because the other guy I was thinking of, he did. I don't know if you even watched this show too, Beyond Belief, Fact or Fiction.
I've seen it. I've never watched it. Like
Yeah,
I've seen it scrolling
like the
through a couple
first
places.
season is it's James Brolin's dad, Jim. Yeah, yeah, I think Jim Brolin. He covers the first season, and then after that, the guy who plays Riker, and then that's when you get all those memes years later. Now he's been memeified of like, you ever walked into a classroom and it's all like, what the fuck? It's like
Right.
it's freaking great and everything. And I know, folks, we're off the beaten path. If you're a constant listener of this podcast, like we go off the beaten path so freaking damn much. Um, to the point now that it's like I now need to go revisit these childhood loves of science fiction. Um, we are going to sit there and switch on over to our last film, which is like, yeah, it was early nerd culture. It's a stoner comedy film, but I don't really want to really just give it that. It's also gamer comedy. There's like a lot of gamer tropes to this that I feel like people that grew up in, not to date you, but in Rove's time, like people that like play video games from like the 90s and everything, and then kind of like the early 2000s. I feel like this film was definitely made for you. I was kind of like on there. I played the Nintendo 64 whenever I was a kid, but Grandma's Boy. I don't think calling it a stoner comedy is like accurate enough.
It's just the most apt way to describe it now. The way I would describe it is pre-Halo 2 lobbies on the internet where everybody got on voice comms.
Yeah,
This is what was on voice comms before the rest of the world found video games.
yeah,
This was our humor. This is the way we joked. I built my first computer when I was 14. That was not so cool, back then. To be a nerd and play all these games and be interested in this kind of stuff. And these are the guys that grew up and started making video games.
yeah,
There were guys like me that this was their future job, and that's what the whole thing is to me is just these people around that never grew up because they didn't have to, and you don't need to.
yeah.
And they found like-minded people. They all work for this game studio, and that's what it is. Now is weed and Betty White involved? Absolutely, and it's hilarious. Like,
What is it like? I would still wouldn't sit there and fuck with you and everything, because like if you're over here building PCs and also like high school freaking wrestling, it's like I don't want to fuck with this damn dude that can just pick my ass up, slam me down on the damn ground, and then it's like, all right, now I'm gonna go put my PC together. Later, nerd, and then walk right.
yeah, that's pretty much what it is. There's no hate in my heart. Just some people need to learn a lesson, and once it's learned, you walk away.
Yeah.
Now I'm gonna go play my video games.
Yeah, it's like I choked you out for 5 minutes. I'll let you live, mostly because I'm gonna go play Doom.
Yeah, I'm done with this now. I didn't want this in the first place. You brought this.
Yeah. Grandma's Boy. For one, I do gotta say I don't think this is even is this a Happy Madison? Yes, this is a Happy Madison co-production. This film also showed that you did not just need Adam Sandler and a Happy Madison's production to make it funny. I really wish we got more of Alan Covert and Peter Dante to kind of lead these type of films. I think those guys are fucking funny, and this was.
Well, Sandler's humor wouldn't have fit this.
Yeah, no, because Sandler, I feel like Sandler was just much too older. Like, I don't want to sit there and say that the Sandman didn't play video games. I'm pretty sure he did. But like, I kind of feel like Alan and like Nick Swartzen, like these were the guys just a little bit more younger, but they were in that early video game craze of,
right.
So it fit them far better.
More believable as nerds.
Yeah, you kind of look at him and you kind of would probably figure that Alan is all like he's got a D&D party,
Yeah.
like on the side, outside of acting and probably doing drugs and everything,
I need to take off early because I need to get to my D&D game.
yeah,
Like, not
yeah,
not I'm going on vacation to the beach or anything. Like, nope, nope, nope. I gotta go play Magic.
yeah. Adam would probably be the one that's like, yeah, no, I got a basketball game to go to, and Alan's like, oh, sweet, yeah, I need to go join my party later. He's like, what
Right.
party? He's like, nothing, don't worry about it. And like hours later,
Yeah, exactly.
he's dressed up like a cleric and everything, just all excited at the table. And but what about this film particularly striked you for it?
Yeah, it was just so. When did it come out?
2006.
Okay, so that was right after, me and my group of friends, then they were all kind of like me too, like half more than we all went into the military, whatever. But we all were doing, I was building crossover cables for the original Xbox so we could drag the CRTVs into the same room and have the first real LAN parties, because we
Mm,
didn't have routers in every house or, you know, crossover cable. You can direct connect set IPs, blah, blah, blah. That's all very, very technical for back in the day. And so we were actually like playing against each other before online became a thing and just did it for you.
okay.
Um, so
Did,
when this movie came out, it was a few years after I graduated high school, and it just really reminded me of those times we had together with like Mountain Dew cans and Code Red and pizza boxes laying all over. We didn't leave the two different bedrooms for 3 straight days, and Mom would come down and yell about how bad it smelled, and he was just happy we weren't out doing drugs or getting up to shenanigans. Like
right. That's
it just
always
had that whole feel.
that's always the answer to most stuff, because like my mom's like, she used to give me shit about my comic book addiction and then my book addiction. I was like, would you much rather this money go into drugs? And then she just walks
Yep,
away. Because she's like, yep, that's the
you
best
got a
answer.
point.
Yeah. It's like, I could be a drug addict. Like, they're just down the street from me. It's like,
I mean, if you're gonna do that, at least do it in your 20s so you don't ruin your whole childhood.
and I'll be like, what childhood?
Yeah,
um,
and ruin my whole life by the time I was 17.
there was also a thing that you mentioned, like this comedy, with the gamer stuff. It was pre Halo. It's like, you know what? Like, we kind of have like an era of that now, where there's like the grandma's boy kind of era of humor, and then you have like, what is it, Red versus Blue? That was the
Oh
Halo.
God, yeah,
Yeah,
yes.
you had that, and all of this all predated like the Big Bang Theory, which brought in all forms of nerd culture and everything. And I don't know what today's, what do you call today's era? Because I wouldn't say we're in the Big Bang Theory era of that. Like, is it just Twitch shit talking?
Well, we're in a time now where being a nerd is actually cool.
Yeah.
And that's changed the things because it's not so much like I need to find my people. The people are everywhere. You got everybody streams, everybody tries to content create, everybody is, oh yeah, let's talk about computer gear and blah blah blah. I'm like, where was this when I was growing up? This is amazing.
It
But
was
it's also become so mainstream that now we have people from all different walks of life instead of just us nerds. So that's a little weird.
it's
But
more like your generation kind of helped form that. Even you didn't have that community growing around, so you had to go find that community, and then you built it up. So then
mhm.
the next generation afterwards, it's like, oh, what do you got here? And it's like, oh, this is pretty damn cool. um
But then we've got guys like have you seen Scotty K Fitness on TikTok?
if he's strictly a TikTok person, I don't, I am so ignorant
Well,
on TikTok.
he is just this guy. He's been a bounty hunter. He's been a firefighter. He's done all this kind of stuff. He's jacked to the tilt, but he's got his huge mustache. He's always wearing like a Fallout shirt or something. He loves like he grew up in that way, and he talks about mental health for people and everything, and working out and eating, and then
I'm gonna have to
games and
check him
stuff.
out.
And it's like, yeah, it's like that's where we always wanted this to be because you wouldn't see that guy walking down the street and be like nerd. But you look on the back of his shelf and he's got a Nuka-Cola light up freaking decoration or something. Like,
He's already
yes,
won
you're one
brownie
of
points for
us.
me. Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm a big Fallout guy, so anything Nuka Cola, it's like, you got me sold. Um,
Hmm.
God, that really, like, because even just the way like you
That's
describe
where
it,
we always wanted it to go.
yes, like even the stuff that you described with the stuff that you were with your buddies in the military and everything, and it's all like, dude, it seemed like to you, regardless of the time period, you guys never grew out of like that Friday night, like, let's go to Blockbuster Let's rent 2 movies. Let's get a video game. Fucking soda, pizza. That's all you fucking needed. That was your whole damn night and everything.
I
And
worked at Blockbuster, and the town I live in is where the last one is. So you know.
really, you know
Yep.
what? Now I gotta pick your brain because I've been wanting to for the longest damn time write a video rental story. Like I've had numerous ones where essentially like there's VHS tapes that are like cursed. So anytime that anyone actually plays it, the film actually comes to life. And so
Oh, that'd be
the
cool.
rental people have to go, they kind of essentially have a side gig of like, ah, crap, one of the bad VHS tapes got out again. It's like, we
You
gotta
gotta go
go,
hunt it down.
we gotta go hunt it down. We gotta return the monsters to the VHS tape. And we gotta, we gotta, you know, we
Be
can't
like a couple
destroy it.
kids finding the old VHS player in their grandpa's garage or
Yeah.
something, and let's go find a tape.
Yeah. It's all like, they'll probably find very questionable tapes, like, you know, what's Backdoor Sluts 9? And it's like, oh, it's like, that was a
What was the
different time.
one when I was working there? It was like Bo Derek or something. I think it was just called 10 or something. But on the cover, you know, we're talking about the 90s, like the Baywatch. You know, there wasn't
Mhm.
like we have now. Everybody's showing skin everywhere. It was just Bo Derek in like a one piece bikini, and it's just like childhood crush mode. Just
Believe it
like
or not,
walking by that every day.
I never understood the hype for Bo Derek, because even I've seen someone,
Yeah,
I was like, she's a pretty woman. It's like, I'm not
yeah.
speaking down. She's a very pretty woman. But like when you mention that time of like Baywatch, it's like, yeah, Pamela Anderson,
Oh,
yes, like, you
nope, I'm
know,
a Carmen Electra guy.
yeah.
Carmen Electra all my
Bl-
life.
Blondes are okay, but I always prefer the brunettes and the ones that like their hair was just so dark it just practically looked black. Like to me,
Yeah.
it's Eva Green from Sin City. Like that's
Oh yeah.
yeah, you know,
Mhm.
the kind that obviously mother has warned you do not date because they will probably break you. And I'm like over here, it's like that's
You
the
just
intent.
won't wake up one way or another.
It's like that's the intended purpose and everything. But moving back to Grandma's Boy and just the
Yeah.
video game. Uh, this has like one hell of a cast. I thought that I saw as early as Jonah Hill as possible with Accepted.
Oh, that's
And I
right.
think Jonah Hill was in here and everything, and
Mhm.
he got
Yeah,
dick
wasn't he like
punched
the little yeah.
because in Accepted, everyone knows him as the wiener guy who dresses up in the hot dog suits. Like,
Uh-huh.
would you like to touch my wiener or see my wiener? And it's
Uh-huh.
like that's what we like that in Superbad. But like, I think this
Yeah.
is the one that this is what got him, at least booked. Like maybe not breakout role, but like, oh, he was also in the 40-Year-Old
God
Virgin.
noticed.
So I forgot he was in that
Was
one.
he really? Oh my god, I haven't seen that in
So
forever.
so like Superbad, I think was when he blew up pretty big because he was also
Yeah.
in Knocked Up. I don't remember him in Knocked Up or the 40-Year-Old Virgin. Um, but you know, 21 Jump Street, Get Him to the Greek, that all blew him up. But you have Kevin
And Wolf
Nealon.
of Wall Street did great.
Believe it or not, I still have not seen that film.
Oh, that's a trip.
I've seen the movie clip where Harley Quinn essentially is like down on the ground and Leo is like crawling towards her and she puts her
Mhm.
foot on his head, and I'm like sitting here, it's all like not gonna say anything. This is gonna get me canceled.
Yeah, right?
But has Kevin Nealon ever looked young ever before?
I think he's just always looked the same.
I think
He
he's
doesn't
always looked
age.
old.
Maybe we got to see if mom has any childhood pictures because that's kind of freaky.
Yeah.
Never thought about it.
Because looking at that, like for one, Kevin Nealon always looked old whenever he did the SNL stuff. And then
Mhm.
looking at him in here as like, you know, I don't like the energy you're giving off, Alex. It's like I'm all like, oh dear Lord, they're doing that boss trope and everything. But like I like look at it, I was like, I always felt like Kevin Nealon always played an old man. Or not like an old man, but he always was in his 50s.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's part of nerd culture too, though, all that boss stuff. Because like we were so out there. Like now that it's more mainstream, it's you just don't go searching for it. But being nerds back in the day was like, oh, what's this book about chakras? What's this book about? You know, oh, cool. Like, we just went out there and found the most wild stuff.
Yeah. Um I'm trying to sit there. Linda Cardellini, amazing in here. I also kind of feel like this is also for a film like this, they also kind of went against the trope of like the main character had to have a love interest. Like it always kind of felt like they respected each other and they cared about one another. Obviously, they ended up dating towards the end, and like there
Mm-hmm.
is like that. But like I sit there and love that. Like for when Linda has tied to nerd culture as well, because Freaks and Geeks and
Mm-hmm.
everything. So like uh bloody hell, I had the thought and the thought escaped me and everything.
You
What
can't
about
have
this?
nerd culture without a girl. You can't,
Yeah,
because that was the whole half of the other half of
it's
playing
like
video games was
you
like,
you
I don't
couldn't
know
be
how
a
to talk
nerd.
to women.
Yes, but like the woman is right there. She has just as much the same amount of interest as you do.
Mm-hmm.
But like yet
Nope,
you
still
still,
terrifying.
yeah, still terrifying. But what's even more terrifying is Joel Moore's JP trying to talk to her and everything. Like, I for one, I feel
Yeah.
like everyone's had that boss of like the dude that like completely thinks he's completely better than you. But like when you really hear
Mhm.
him speak, it's all like, how is this guy your boss? It's
You
all
just got
like,
lucky once, you know? That's usually
mhm,
the way of it. Now that I get older,
yeah,
kind of see it more around like, okay, well, you're here because you did something one time and, and that's fine.
yeah. But
Somebody still that made in that decision.
he plays the awkward boss or the higher up, not really the boss and everything. He always plays such awkward characters because again, like we
Yep.
were talking about this off stream, um, with dodgeball and how he like, always played like such an awkward character and everything. What did you just think about that character and mine compared to like
I,
the others?
I know 15 of them when I was growing up, you know? It might not have been talking like a robot or doing whatever, but we had some weird ducks. I was one of them. I had my things,
Yeah, but
and
you
it
also seem
just
like you went out and touched grass more often than I guess this character did.
doesn't mean I was happy about it. I'd rather been home playing Eve Online. To get those video games in. No, it was just that but it made it fun. We had one guy that was all into like martial arts and he'd buy kendo sticks and we'd go outside and we'd do that. We had another guy who was all into this. We'd go do that. Like it wasn't just video games being a nerd. It
Okay.
wasn't just electronics, it was anything off the wall.
Anything
It was just
that
like
striked your fancy and you absorbed it
mm-hmm.
all completely.
And we were all very open to it because, you know, you understood what I like to do. Let me understand what you like to do. And now in the world it's, you might have 50,000 people doing Twitch streams, content creation for martial arts, or how many of those things do you see around for what
So
did I say before, like chakras or something like.
yeah, there's people. It's all like you need like an opaque jewel, like that's what's gonna lift your spirits, and it's all like I don't know where the fuck they even find that damn thing, and it's like well you can go to my Etsy store. And it's like this looks like a
Right.
rock I found in my driveway.
Yeah, the world was just so closed off 20 years ago.
Yeah.
Like
Well,
there's only a few thoughts you're allowed to have,
so
otherwise you're going to be ostracized from society.
exactly. Well, I feel like today it's so easy to be ostracized from society, but like the relationship that you had with your friends that you were able to like nerd over like other interests, like do you sit there and feel like that kind of still fits today, or do you kind of feel like maybe with the internet that there's been more like I guess gatekeepers into such things,
There's
or
always going to be
like yeah there
gatekeepers.
always will
Everybody's.
be, but I guess compared to then to now.
I mean, if somebody came up to us back then and was like, "Hey, what are you guys doing? That looks fun." It was like, "Take a seat. We'll teach you."
Yeah,
And now it's just gotten into that mainstream of, well, are you good? What's your rank? Like, well, I don't care. I just thought this looked cool. Wanted to learn about it. But if that's your first response, then I'll go find another group of people to learn this from. Like,
yeah.
why is that the most important thing to you? Oh, it's because you're that person. That's what your friends are, and that's what you stress over, and you don't have fun doing it anymore. That's why I don't play ranked in Valorant. I don't want to sit there and stress about losing a game. I want to have fun with friends.
That's what happened with Apex for me. I used to play rank and all that, and it got me so burnt out that I started going to Fortnite. And people are like, "You're gonna play Fortnite?" And believe it or not, I brought a lot of people over to Fortnite because I was like, "You don't have to stress about it;
Mm-hmm.
just have fun." And I was like, "It's always an ongoing joke in my community and everything." It's like, "Oh God, Gothic's driving in Fortnite." Like, be prepared to go off the road. Be prepared to see the car flip multiple times. And I'm like, there's no ranking system that sit there and has it that I have to, successfully drive this truck from here to there all in one piece without it blowing up. it's
Mm-hmm.
like I just try to have fun and everything. And but even
It's
then, it
fun's
gets to a
important,
point,
man.
even with Fortnite, of like if I get like that sweaty bug bite and everything, and then I get myself stuck
Mm-hmm.
in a lobby, that it's like, ah, shit, I'm gonna have to eat dirt the next 20 or 50 so matches just so I can go back into the lobbies that were
Right.
easy. But yeah, I definitely do feel like, because even when I was trying to get into D&D, because I'm still working on trying to get my first campaign launched. I definitely had some people at first that were like, well, like, have you ever even played? I was like, well, this is why I'm asking you guys all the questions. It's all like, it almost feels like you have to be at a certain level with people and everything before they finally allow you into their community. They're like, well, like, we kind of feels to me like no one really wants to invest anymore, you know?
Well, and that's the part of the fun of it. Like when you play, like take D&D as a perfect example. Like as a new person, and say you weren't trying to do DM and ask them questions, you try to do something you think is fun in the game, and you think your rules are right, and they're like, nope, page 78 on the rule book says you can't do that. Like, oh, fine, but that's part of the fun of learning like D&D together with a group.
Yeah.
You do all those things and you think you're playing by the rules, but then 3 months into the campaign, somebody's like, oh hey, I found this thing and it's we've been doing this wrong, so we shouldn't do that anymore. Instead of just that instant shutdown that just like breaks your soul, like, well, I was just trying to
Have
help the
fun.
party. Like,
Yeah.
sorry, I did something that's against appendix C in the fourth rule book, seventh edition. I don't know. Like, sorry.
It's like the moment you start using appendix, it's like, all right, he's gone way over my damn head. It's not like I'm still learning here. I'm just trying to get through the introduction there, like, period. And
Yeah.
but yeah, I've had it where like there was like several of my ideas that were shut down just because I saw the Critical Role people do it and everything.
Oh yeah, they're awesome.
I was like, oh well, they did it, and I was like, yeah, well, they don't play real D&D. I was like, so what's real D&D and everything? And then of course,
Purists. You found the purists.
yeah, but the thing is they'll go play Baldur's Gate 3 and everything,
Right, and
and
that's
then,
fine.
and that's not even real, quote unquote, supposed. It borrows the rules to it, but not all of them. But then like the moment it's like, oh, well, I like that in Baldur's Gate, I maybe want to try to do that here. Yeah, no, that's not part of the rules. It's all like, you were so accepting of this from them, like,
Hmm.
what's going on here? Yeah.
I mean, when I play poker, we have house rules. Like if you bluff out with a seven deuce and win the hand, everybody's got to throw you a chip. That's not in the World Series of Poker, but it makes it a hell of a lot more fun when people trying to bluff with the worst hand of poker.
Also too, I've never played poker and everything.
Uh,
Maybe I can learn. I could sit there like, what's my level cap to join your poker group?
we'll just take your money. There is no level cap.
Well, I'm broke,
Level
so
cap's your
I
wallet.
have no money. I guess I'm out. Oh my god. Oh my god.
No, we usually just play $20 tournament, and it's all of us have been playing a really long time, so it's more just a reason to hang out and shoot the shit and drink some beers and play, and then every once in a while everybody will get quiet because something real is happening, and everybody just knows like, oh yeah, they're actually playing for a hot minute here.
It's like my
Let's
20
watch
bucks is
this.
on the line, man. It's all like I need to reel
Yeah.
it in. Oh my god. So, oh my god. Grandma's Boy, nerd culture, everything about it. Probably one of the best Happy Madison films without Adam Sandler in it. Not a slight towards Adam Sandler. It did have David Spade in it as like a vegan like waiter. Like I
Yeah.
really kind of feel like Spade could play something more than just either a redneck or just a very stuck up person from like his SNL days. But I saw the clip to it. I was like, God, he's a real asshole. It was like, I'm pretty sure he's nice in real life, but it's like, God, can you play something that's not a dick? Um, Doris Roberts and Shirley Knight as like the stoner grannies and everything. For one, I love it that they're all like, it's all like, oh, we found your special oregano, and like all of a sudden
Yep.
and then great grandson brings in the fucking food net, like a what was it? I think it's like a broker box for cable, and like they're watching like all these channels for Food Network,
Oh, yep.
and they're like, it's
Just to
like
hide, right?
it's just nothing but food, and like they're just so stoned and baking everything, and like I wished I had this relationship with my grandmother. I definitely know she was never this type, but it's like I wish I had this for grandma. It's like I believe my
Yeah.
grandma Irma would be a nice stoner, and everything.
My grandma's a wine drinker, and we'll sit out there and talk some trash and play some gin rummy.
That's another game I've never
God,
played.
up until another 5-6 years back, she could still put me under the table glass for glass of wine.
Really?
Yeah,
Oh my
yep, she's
god.
a real one.
And everything. She's like, look at you, so young with a far more healthier liver, and you can't even drink out me.
Jeez,
Oh my
she's
god.
a riot.
Before we wrap up here for today, where can the lovable people find you on the socials?
It's the same across all platforms. Mostly just Twitch and TikTok, but TTTV. I can talk. Words are hard. TTVRovinare.
All right. Thank you so much again, Rove, for having us here and everything. You're definitely your last film definitely threw us on fucking like nostalgic avenue, and I'm all
Oh
like,
yeah.
oh dear lord, because like, you know what's one thing I still have not found a content creator that completely lives in the nostalgia of like movie rental 90s. It's
Mm-hmm.
like the person that can inform you on every other freaking film while wearing like a
Oh yeah.
Blockbuster or a Hollywood Video t-shirt and everything. I guess I have to start building that own community myself.
I mean, it was a trip working there, man. it was. It's just so many random questions. The one thing you always ask is when they come up and say, "Well, what would you recommend?" Say, "Well, what was the last movie you liked?"
And that's
And then
what
they're
would
like,
start
"This
it.
one," and you're like, oh, "Okay, we're going to this section." And then, you know,
All right.
there was a lot of guessing game in that because like we got 5 free rentals a week or
Mm-hmm.
something. Um, that's not enough to watch everything for every person's going to come in and ask you a question. And of course, everybody knows about all the new releases, but once those are done, they're looking for something else. They tell you what the last one they watched that they liked is. Okay, that's in this section over here. Let's go see what catches your eye.
Yeah. So I definitely felt like if I grew up in that time period, like like in my 20s, I would probably be like one of the best guys. It's like he can sell you on a movie and everything. Just figure out what you need. He will find it and everything, because that's what I try my best to do with content creating. It's like I try to find like, I was like, well, what are you in the mood for? And they're like, I don't know. I was like, well, you know what? You ain't gonna get fucking nowhere with that. What was
Right.
what's something you
You got to
want?
start with something.
Yes, it's like once you get me on something, I will fucking find it for you. And I'll try to go first to like the I guess like the big budgeted films, and I work my way all the way down to like the trauma films. It's like I just want
Hmm.
what's something unhinged. It's like Trauma's War. Don't ask me what the plot of it is because I don't even know, and they don't even know. Just shit happens.
They just made a movie.
They just made a movie. That's pretty much it and everything. Thank you so much again for being here, Rove. It was a pleasure having you.
Absolutely. That was
And
fun.
yeah, we'll sit there and we'll hopefully catch you on another episode in the future.